Kochie's Business Builders is proudly brought to you by our partner Zella, helping small businesses grow.
This week on Kochie's Business Builders, we have a cuppa with a monk turned business coach. Tom Griffith, the man who made juice with no nasties, a household staple, joins me as co-host. Plus, two great Aussie businesses facing challenges post-COVID, a Victorian craft distillery and a Sydney fashion label. G'day and thanks for joining me for another episode of Kochie's Business Builders as we take a look at the issues facing small business owners and come up with practical advice and tips to help them succeed. Joining me today as co-host is Tom Griffith. Now, long before lifestyle brands were a thing, the green juices were the go-to for every fitness fanatic. Childhood friends Emma and Tom launched a business to make healthy, delicious juices without any of the bad stuff. 18 years later, and Emma and Tom's are still going strong. And the pair's motto of look after yourself is still driving the business. Tom, welcome. Good to see you again. You've been a regular on Kochie's Business Builders over the years, haven't you?
Yeah, it's gone back as far as 2015, so thanks for your support.
It's been a great success story. What's the secret sauce to the longevity of Emma and Tom's?
Look, I think being healthy drinks and snacks, firstly and primarily, they've got to taste fantastic. And then following on from that, we make sure that everything is obviously all natural, there's no added sugar, and they're minimally processed. So you get a tremendous product. After that, you've got to get it into shops. So we've managed to nail distribution to probably 4,000 or 5,000 really good high-end Australian independent retailers, cafes, delis, IGAs.
Distribution is the key. We'll talk about that a bit later. But Tom, hang around. Can't wait for your advice and get your thoughts on this small business also, which is carving out a niche in the alcohol space, but is needed some help. Tiny Bear Distillery is a local craft distillery based just outside of Melbourne. Former teacher Damien Anderson combined his passion for science with his love of gin, would you believe, to produce an artisan product that is really kicking goals.
I've never run a business prior to this. One thing that we've always done in-house ourselves is all our accounting and everything, but we're not accountants. When that first Melbourne lockdown hit, 70% of our customers disappeared overnight because they were, bars and hotels. Our number one goal was just to keep our staff employed. So it was quite a small amount of us. How do we get more specific roles for staff? How do we build that right culture in our workforce?
Oh, Tom, Damien's not alone. Every business is facing this staff shortage, skills shortage as well. How do you cope with it at Emma and Tom's? And how important is it to look at upskilling rather than just finding new staff?
So I'm big on hiring really competent people. You're not going to get the person who's done the job before necessarily because it'll be a new job. So we've hired good people and they've learned and created a new role for themselves. And of course, we provide all the systems and support, mentoring, whatever you like, to let them achieve that. But I'm huge on sort of aptitude and ability as opposed to sort of the qualification for the role, because once again, it's all changing.
So what are the personality traits you look for in a new staff member?
Tenacity, taking responsibility, and also asking the question. I'm a full believer there's no dumb questions. Right. So not be intimidated by the fact that, my name's on the bottle. Talk to me.
Tom, great advice. Now, if Tiny Bear Distillery is going to continue to grow, they need some expert advice on how to upskill their staff and also make time to focus on that all-important planning that Tom was talking about. So we paired up Damien with one of the best business strategists in this area that I know, Holly Ransom. She'll unpack the challenges facing Tiny Bear and see how they can turn disruption into success. Holly joins us now. Now, Holly, Damien's facing an issue that's common for a lot of hospitality venues coming out of the pandemic, skills and staff shortages. What are the first steps you think he needs to consider?
Well, David, thanks so much. It's great to be with you here on KBB, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to work with Tiny Bear Distillers. A lot of my work is in the space around intergenerational engagement, workforce engagement, and how do we create destination cultures? So, places where people are excited to show up and where we are able to overcome those loyalty and retention challenges that we so often see. So I'm really interested in two aspects of Tiny Bear Distillery's challenge. One, there's this piece around attraction. They've got the world opening up post-COVID now. Demand, fortunately, which is fantastic credit to Damien and the team, is going through the roof. So how are they going to attract the talent that they need to meet their workforce demands? And then the second bit is, one of the biggest challenges of small business is retaining those employees. So how are we going to really define what it is that the people in their organisation are after? How can we make not only an outstanding employee value proposition, but really tell that story effectively? So they're the two parts of the challenge I'm looking forward to leaning into with Damien and the team.
Holly, I can't wait to see how you can help Damien unlock the potential of his business, and we'll keep checking in. After the break, we answer a question from our KBB audience, plus how understanding SEO can improve your Google rankings and your sales. In this week's Ask Kochie, a small business owner wants some advice on expansion.
Hi, my name's Julian Fayed and I'm the CEO of LoanOptions.ai. It's a fintech business. And my question is, when scaling a business, what is the correct timing or formula that you should apply when you're looking to add additional sales staff based on the revenue they can generate? And when you know you have a superior product and service, what are some ways that you can create that point of difference to differentiate yourself from the competition?
So let's go straight to the guru. Tom, when you started Emma and Tom's, you started with just juices. Now you've got a whole range of healthy product lines. How did you differentiate yourself and how did you grow your sales staff?
I mean, it's all about sales, right?
Yep.
So you've got to have the systems there in place to be able to grow your sales and go out to the market. So you need to be able to obviously hire the staff. You've got to have the systems to support them and to fund them. And having done that, we're then very big on, I suppose, communicating with our sales staff as to what's a good day as opposed to a bad day. So they know what they're doing when they're out, in our case, driving around cafes.
So it's that accountability, giving them benchmarks.
That's right. KPIs, and obviously sales staff like cash, so bonus structures and things that reward good results. Because if you haven't got all that and there's no real aim, in a Sydney sense, people just start to drift towards Bondi Beach. I mean, what are we going to do? So it's about support and systems, absolutely, and funding it through to the end.
And how do you differentiate yourself from the competition? You must have had so many competitors come on the scene trying to take you on. How do you maintain that differential?
Maintaining the quality of the product, absolutely, and our distribution. We are reliable. We get it into the store week in, week out, because if you don't do that, somebody will steal your shelf space.
Okay.
Simple as that.
So other tips for the viewer on how to stand up. So it is putting it all into the quality of the product.
That's right. Now, we've also become a B Corp. So we stand out on the sort of ESG scale because we are a benefits corporation, which means we look at our triple bottom line. So the environment impact, the social impact, and of course, financial impact.
Right.
We've been very innovative. We've used amazing new products that others haven't involved in their business. Seaweed, chia seeds, spirulina, prebiotics, probiotics.
Yep.
And I suppose lastly, it's about communication. As you know, no one ever bought a motor vehicle, using rational thought. So I want you to go into a store and say, I feel good about my decision to buy this product. It's good for me. Or I feel good about myself as a father or grandfather. I'm buying this for my kids.
Yep.
So communication to engage that emotional connection with the brand.
Yep, great advice. More coming up from Tom very shortly. Up next, if you're bamboozled by SEO marketing expert Nick Brogden has some answers for you. He has 3 tools you can use to improve your Google rankings and understand the analytics behind search engine optimization.
Hi, my name's Nick Brogden. I'm the founder of Earned Media. We're a search engine optimization company, which is widely known as SEO. Now, today, I'm going to tell you about a few of the tools that we use in the industry. Tip 1, is a tool called Screaming Frog. Now, Screaming Frog is a tool that allows you to crawl your website and then export it to a spreadsheet. Once you've got it in the spreadsheet, you can then find out really interesting things about your website. It even tells you if your pages are loading or if they're broken. And the best part is it's free if you're using it for basic, smaller websites. Tech tip number 2 is a Chrome extension called Keywords Everywhere. Now, Keywords Everywhere gives you the actual monthly search volume for everything you query, everything you search on Google. Just below the query, you'll see the amount of search per month. The best part is it also tells you what the cost per click is if you were to buy it from AdWords. So the best rule of thumb for that is that the higher the cost per click, the more chance that that keyword will give you a conversion. And if you're unsure, it even gives you suggested keywords on the right of the search page, which gives you alternate keywords that might work better. Tech tip number 3, Ahrefs. Now, Ahrefs is most likely the most powerful tool that SEOs have in their tool belt. This tool allows you to see how authoritative your site is. Knowing how much authority you have versus a competitor is a key indicator of your ability to rank for your chosen queries. The tool also provides information on what keywords you're currently ranked for, so you can see what keywords you could work on first to make them move up the ranks the fastest.
After the break, how Conscious Cribs co-founder Liz Linforth has taken interior design to the next level.
Hi, I'm Liz and I'm the co-founder of Conscious Cribs. Have you seen The Office with Ricky Gervais? Well, actually, the architect firm that my business partner and I both worked at in London was similar to that space, though with less natural light. So for a design firm, you can imagine that was pretty soul-destroying. I think being surrounded by the fluorescent lighting and cardboard boxes really made it acutely aware to us how the environment you surround yourself in can negatively or positively impact on your well-being and mental health. So it was really from this that we came up with the idea of Conscious Cribs, which is just an interior design company that designs spaces to enhance your well-being. We really look at the science behind why a space makes you feel good. So there's actually a few different elements that go into this. And the first one being psychology. So light and colour psychology, how they affect your mood and the interactions you have within a space. The second one is world teaching. So think of things like feng shui and the energy within the space. And then finally, sustainability and using non-toxic finishes, because it's actually all of these elements together that create a healthy home or space. We really need to ask the question, how do people feel within a space and how do they use the space? And it's by understanding the employee's needs and then of course mixed in with the right light, colour and materiality that we can create a really pleasant work environment, which then in turn increases productivity within the workplace. At the end of last year, we finished designing a home in Notting Hill in London. It was actually 2 apartments that were essentially derelict. So what we did, we actually transformed it into the 1 apartment, 2-storey apartment. By using things like lighter mineral paint that the natural light would bounce off, lighter flooring as well, that as a blank canvas already made the home feel more open and light-filled, which of course makes you feel happy when you enter the space. They were thrilled with the results, and then we were, of course, even more thrilled when we got nominated for 2 international design awards for the 1 home. If someone was looking to hire us for a commercial or residential project, our very first principle is to turn to nature, not Pinterest. And what I mean by that is that we're not about following trends, but rather looking to the natural environment for inspiration. And then our second most important rule is to really steer away from man-made materials because they're generally synthetic. A lot of traditional paints have a lot of harsh chemicals in them known as VOCs. So we rather specify mineral-based paints which have no chemicals and don't damage our health in any way. So I guess really healthy interior design is just about selecting finishes and furniture that support our health, they don't damage it. I think the most exciting thing about our business is really educating our clients on how their space does affect their well-being. And now that we've launched an online masterclass, being able to, I guess, spread that awareness and ideas to the masses is really exciting. I suppose the scalability and the awareness of this type of design is now limitless for our company.
After the break, from mug to business coach, Kamal Sama explains why connection is the key to success in business life.
Hello, my name's Kamal Sama. I run a company called Resilium, and we're a leadership firm that really teaches people the skills and tools around leadership, connection, and resilience. I used to be a monk, I know, weird, and then became a venture capitalist. But what I really think is the biggest skill that we need to learn is how to stay connected to ourselves and to the people that we really care about. One of the most powerful things that we're going to need right now is a sense of connection. We're very interconnected, but sometimes we feel very disconnected. If there's one thing that I think is a skill that we all need, it's knowing how to connect with ourselves, knowing how to connect with people around us, knowing how to connect with our purpose, and knowing how to connect with the planet. The 4 Ps: personal connection, people connection, purpose connection, and planet connection. Cuppa TV is this great initiative where it's on demand, it's streaming, where your team can grow and learn together. And it really strengthens that sense of belonging and exploring new ideas and new concepts together. So you become more resilient, you thrive rather than survive, and you come together as a team and learn how to collaborate even more.
Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders with my special co-host, Tom Griffith from Emma & Tom's. Tom, let's meet our next business owners in need of some assistance from the KBB team. Tamila and Maria Kochenko from MTTC Australia are a mum and daughter team with a passion for fashion. They started their label a couple of years ago and have had a lot of success in getting featured in major magazines and in runway shows, but it's not translating into sales. They're creating great products, but running a business doesn't come naturally. Let's hear about their issues.
We're not very business people, we don't. This is why we need the help, because
we're creative.
Yes, we
but
can do lots of more.
When it comes to financials and marketing, it's the tough bit for us, because when people come down to our studio and see our work, they think, oh wow, it's all fantastic. But the tough bit for us is actually getting people
find us.
Yeah, to find us, to see our work.
This is mostly like word of mouth.
Now, Tom, it sounds like they have the passion, they have the purpose, but they're missing the other important P, which is planning. You love what you do in your business, but the business side is a steep learning curve. How do they come to grips with that?
Look, we had the same problem, Kochie. We were all over the place in the early days because it's all about information, of course. Without good information, you can't make good decisions. We had very poor accounting systems, and I'd be told, for example, in August one year that back in April we lost $30,000 worth of stock. Well, at that point it's useless. You have to move on. So now we've engaged, a proper ERP system, which isn't actually at all expensive, and we get timely data day in, day out. So we can cut and splice our information however we like, by state, by territory, by salesperson, by product, and that additional analysis helps us enormously. If you've got a report to, say, the bank, they get the full suite of information that they've wanted. It looks slick.
OK, so you're using technology to help.
Absolutely.
Explain what an ERP system is.
So ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Management, which essentially isn't just a trial balance and general ledger, it's a digital hub for your entire business, which obviously provides you data spliced any way you like. It also has a CRM system, which is a customer relationship management tool, which manages all your communications outbound, like emails or social, etc., to your customer base.
And it's nothing to be scared of. They're quite easy to use, aren't they, as well? Quite intuitive.
The one that we use is a cracker. It was very intuitive. To the point we hired a new CFO 4 years ago, And he didn't even get any training. He just went and sat down and started working.
Right.
All over it.
They're great tips. More great tips from Tom shortly, but to help Tamila and Maria, we're pairing them up with business strategist Sheridan Green to help them take their fashion label to the next level and translate that into sales.
Thanks, David. Really looking forward to working with the girls. We do want to, work with them to take them to the next level. So when I meet with them, I'm going to be looking at things like business forecasting, cash flow planning, and just sitting down with them just to get an idea of their growth strategy and what it is that we can do to work with them. Really looking forward to, getting out there and getting stuck into it.
Sheridan, thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see how you can help Tamila and Maria. Tom, thank you so much for joining us live in the studio. It's been a lot of fun. Your insights have been fantastic. All the best with Emma and Tom's.
Thanks, Kochie.
Good on you. See you soon. And remember, if you're looking for small business tips or the latest news and expert advice, then you can find them online at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au or follow Kochie's Biz on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter. See you same time next week. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, Taryn Williams on the power of influencer marketing. Strategist Sheridan Green visits MTTC Australia to get to the bottom of their sales problem. And retail guru Paul Zara shares his tips for success in Lessons from Legends.